If you are in the market for a new car, you can now save money by buying one that's built here in the U.S.
What's the inventory like when it comes to used cars? Is this typical?
Down, way down. People are holding on to their cars.
How much more are you paying on average?
Anywhere between $1,000 and $2,000 more for a used car.
And then if you're paying $1,000 to $2,000 more.
Right now, there's a Toyota Sienna sitting on a dealer lot with 47 people fighting over it. Not a Ferrari, not a Lamborghini, a minivan. They told you the car shortage was over. They said inventory was normalizing. They didn't mention what happens when desperation meets manipulation. Across America, grown adults are camping outside dealerships like it's Black Friday. Bidding wars are erupting over basic transportation. And dealers are making more money in 20 days than they used to make in 6 months. While you're fighting each other, they're counting profits. The Toyota Sienna has become the #1 fastest-selling vehicle in the United States, with a 20-day supply that's actually closer to zero because most are pre-sold before they even arrive. But as I dug into the data behind America's fastest-selling vehicles, one pattern emerged that shocked even seasoned dealers. They want you to think this is just supply and demand. These aren't just cars selling fast. They're creating a feeding frenzy that's reshaping how Americans buy cars forever. While you're scrambling for scraps, they're engineering scarcity. Toyota has 6 vehicles in the top 10. Luxury SUVs are outselling economy cars, and the traditional rules of car buying have been thrown out the window. The dealers know why. Wall Street knows why. But they're betting you don't. The #1 reason why will make you rethink everything you know about the car market. If you're tired of being played, stay with me. The shocking reality. Let me start with a number that will blow your mind. 34 days. That's how long the Toyota Corolla sedan is supposed to last on dealer lots, according to official market data. With 24,649 available nationwide and 33,072 sold in just 45 days at an average price of $25,657, it's the 10th fastest-selling vehicle in America. But here's the problem. That 34-day supply is a complete lie. Most of those Corollas are already spoken for before they ever make it to the dealership floor. Someone has put their name on a list, made a deposit, and is just waiting for their car to arrive. What looks like a 34-day supply is actually closer to a 10-day supply in reality. The market data is lying to consumers, and it's creating a phantom marketplace where people think they have options when they really don't. But if you think the Corolla situation is crazy, wait until you hear about the luxury market. The Cadillac Escalade ESV, a $124,000 behemoth, has a 33-day supply with only 1,377 available nationwide, yet almost 1,900 have sold in the last 45 days. Think about that math for a second. They're selling more than they have in stock, which means people are literally buying cars that don't exist yet. Therefore, prices become completely irrelevant in this market. Whether you're spending $25,000 on a Corolla or $124,000 on an Escalade, the same feeding frenzy applies. The old assumption that expensive cars sit longer on lots has been shattered, but the most surprising entry on this list might be the Ford F-450 Super Duty. This isn't a family car. It's a heavy-duty commercial truck with a $96,313 price tag. Yet it has a 32-day supply with 888 available nationwide and more than 1,260 sold in 45 days. Commercial operators are snatching these up faster than dealers can get them, partly because the tax code allows them to write off the depreciation immediately. Therefore, business buyers are now distorting the entire consumer car market. When companies can buy $100,000 trucks and get massive tax benefits, they're competing directly with regular families trying to buy basic transportation. The commercial market and consumer market have collided, and regular buyers are getting crushed in the process. What we're seeing isn't just high demand, it's a fundamental breakdown of how car inventory works. The numbers dealers report to the public don't reflect reality. Luxury vehicles are moving like economy cars, and commercial buyers are competing with soccer moms for the same limited supply. The Toyota Domination. But this inventory chaos reveals something even more disturbing. Toyota has essentially conquered the American car market. 6 out of the 10 fastest-selling vehicles are either Toyota or Lexus models. This isn't coincidence, it's complete market domination. Look at the RAV4 sitting at number 7 with a 31-day supply. There are 48,321 RAV4s actively for sale in the United States right now. That sounds like a lot, right? But it's not when you realize that nearly 70,000 have sold in the last 45 days at an average transaction price of $37,540. They're selling almost 50% more than what's currently available. But the RAV4 numbers pale in comparison to the Camry. With a 28-day supply, there are 34,864 Camrys for sale nationwide, yet over 56,000 have sold in the last 45 days at a $35,000 price point. The math is simple. Toyota is selling cars faster than they can make them, and customers are willing to wait. Therefore, if you own a Toyota dealership right now, you literally have a printing press for money. While other brands struggle with bloated inventory and massive incentives, Toyota dealers are watching customers line up to pay full price, sometimes more than full price, for vehicles that might not arrive for months. The Toyota Corolla Cross at number 5 proves this point perfectly. With a 28-day supply, there are only 12,470 for sale nationwide, but almost 20,000 have sold in the last 45 days at nearly $30,000. This is a basic crossover, not some limited edition supercar. Yet it's creating the same supply shortage you'd expect from a Ferrari. But the crown jewel of Toyota's dominance is the Highlander at number 2. With a 21-day supply, there are 4,500 for sale nationwide. Yet almost 10,000, 9,671 to be exact, have sold in the last 45 days at a $52,000 price point. They're selling more than double what's available. Therefore, Toyota has cracked a code that other manufacturers can't replicate. They've mastered the art of controlled scarcity while maintaining mass appeal. Every other automaker is either flooding the market with inventory nobody wants or creating vehicles so niche they can't achieve volume. And then there's the Toyota Sienna, the minivan that's somehow become America's most coveted vehicle. With a 20-day supply and 7,500 available nationwide, over 16,670 have sold in the last 45 days at an astronomical $52,000 price point, a minivan, at luxury car prices, and people are fighting over them. This isn't just about Toyota making good cars. It's about Toyota understanding something fundamental about American consumers that every other manufacturer has missed. They've created a perfect storm of reliability, efficiency, and strategic scarcity that has turned their dealerships into gold mines while their competitors struggle with overflowing lots and desperate incentives. The hidden forces. But Toyota's dominance exposes something much darker about the entire automotive industry. We're shopping in a completely rigged market, and most buyers have no idea. Remember those spoken-for vehicles I mentioned? This practice has created what I call the inventory illusion. When dealers report 24,649 Corollas available nationwide, they're including thousands of cars that already have buyers' names on them. These vehicles will never see a showroom floor, never be available for negotiation, and never give consumers the choice the numbers suggest they have. But the real problem runs deeper. Dealers are incentivized to maintain this illusion because it keeps customers coming through their doors. Why would they tell you that the car you want is actually unavailable when they can string you along, hoping you'll settle for something else or pay a premium for the privilege of waiting? Therefore, consumers are making purchasing decisions based on phantom inventory. You think you're shopping in a market with options, but you're actually fighting over scraps that may not even exist. This inventory manipulation has killed the art of negotiation. When a Toyota Camry has a 28-day supply, dealers have zero incentive to offer discounts. Why would they? There are 56,000 people who bought one in the last 45 days, proving demand far exceeds supply. If you won't pay full price, the next person will. But it gets worse. Manufacturer incentives, those rebates and special financing deals that used to make car buying affordable, are disappearing entirely for fast-selling vehicles. Toyota doesn't need to offer $2,000 cash back on a Sienna when people are literally camping outside dealerships to buy them at full price. Therefore, the era of car deals is effectively over for the vehicles people actually want. The negotiation power has shifted entirely to dealers, and they're using it ruthlessly. This has created what I call the desperation economy. Families who need reliable transportation are being forced into bidding wars over basic vehicles. I've personally witnessed grown adults break down in tears because they couldn't secure a Toyota Corolla for their daily commute. This isn't luxury car shopping. This is survival shopping in a rigged marketplace. But here's the most twisted part. While families struggle to buy economy cars, luxury vehicles are flying off lots just as fast. The Cadillac Escalade has maintained its position as one of the fastest-selling vehicles for months, not because everyone suddenly became wealthy, but because wealth inequality has become so extreme that there are enough ultra-rich buyers to create artificial scarcity, even at $124,000 price points. The Lexus RX Hybrid at number 3 proves this point. With a 22-day supply, almost 2,200 available nationwide, and more than 4,500 sold in 45 days at $63,000. Luxury buyers are competing just as desperately as economy buyers. The difference is, they have the financial resources to win those competitions. Therefore, our car lots have become a mirror of American wealth inequality. The rich are bidding against each other for luxury vehicles, while the middle class fights over basic transportation. And both groups are getting manipulated by the same inventory illusion. This creates a perfect storm that's about to devastate every car buyer in America who doesn't understand the new rules of this rigged game. The buyer's dilemma. This rigged marketplace has created an impossible dilemma for every car buyer in America. The vehicles you want are the hardest to negotiate, while the vehicles you can get deals on are the ones nobody else wants. Here's the brutal math. Fast-selling cars equals zero negotiating power. When the Toyota Sienna has a 20-day supply, dealers aren't just refusing to negotiate, they're adding dealer-installed options you never asked for. Paint protection packages, extended warranties, nitrogen-filled tires, and fabric protection that can add $3,000 to $5,000 to your final price. Take it or leave it because there are 16 other people behind you willing to pay. But flip to the slowest-selling vehicles, and you'll find dealers offering massive discounts and manufacturer incentives that can save you $10,000 or more. The problem? These are vehicles that have been sitting on lots for 200+ days because nobody wants them. There's usually a good reason they're not selling. Therefore, the market is forcing you into an impossible choice. Pay premium prices for vehicles in demand, or get great deals on vehicles that might be problematic. The middle ground, getting a fair price on a good car, has virtually disappeared. This has made shopping for cars exponentially more complex. You can't just walk into one dealership anymore and expect to find what you want at a reasonable price. For fast-selling vehicles like Toyota models, you now need to contact multiple dealers, get on waiting lists, and prepare for a battle that might take months. But dealers have weaponized this complexity. They know most people don't have the time or energy to shop 5 different dealerships, so they're using convenience as a profit center. Want the car today instead of waiting 3 months? That'll be an extra $2,000 in dealer add-ons. Don't want to drive to 3 different cities to compare prices? Pay our markup or walk away. Therefore, buying a car now requires military-level strategy and endless patience. The casual car buyer, someone who just needs reliable transportation without the drama, is getting absolutely destroyed in this market. But here's what's really disturbing. This isn't temporary market disruption. The data shows Toyota and Lexus have maintained their dominance for over a year. The Escalade has been a consistent top seller for months. These aren't pandemic-related supply chain issues. This is the new permanent reality of car buying. The manufacturers have learned they can make more profit with less inventory. Why flood the market and compete on price when you can create artificial scarcity and charge premium prices? Toyota has proven this model works, and every other manufacturer is trying to copy it. Therefore, if you're waiting for this market to return to normal, you're going to be waiting forever. This is normal now. But there is hope, and I have proof. Recently, our team was able to secure a $2,700 discount on a Toyota Sienna, the #1 fastest-selling vehicle in America. It took contacting 12 different dealers, waiting 6 weeks, and using specific negotiation strategies most people don't know exist. But it happened. The key was understanding that even in this rigged market, dealers still need to move inventory. The successful approach required 3 critical elements: timing your purchase with month-end quotas, leveraging competing dealers against each other, and having the patience to walk away multiple times. Therefore, knowledge and persistence can still win, but only if you're willing to treat car buying like a part-time job. Most people aren't, which is exactly what dealers are counting on. This creates a two-tier market. Informed buyers who do the work get reasonable deals, while everyone else gets exploited. The gap between these two experiences is getting wider every month. The future implications. But this market transformation goes far beyond individual car purchases. It's reshaping the entire American economy in ways most people don't realize. Toyota dealerships have become the new oil wells of American business. While other franchises struggle with thin margins and competitive pressure, Toyota dealers are printing money with minimal effort. A single Toyota dealership in a mid-sized market can generate more profit than entire shopping centers. This isn't just changing individual wealth, it's concentrating automotive profits into fewer hands. But other manufacturers are desperately trying to replicate Toyota's success, and their attempts are creating even more market distortion. Ford is limiting F-150 production to create artificial scarcity. GM is reducing Escalade inventory to maintain premium pricing. Every manufacturer is learning that less inventory equals higher profits, which means consumers will face permanent shortages across all brands. Therefore, the automotive landscape is permanently shifting from abundance to scarcity as a business model. The days of walking into any dealership and choosing from dozens of vehicles are over forever. This scarcity model is also fundamentally changing consumer behavior. Pre-ordering has become the new normal. Brand loyalty is intensifying because switching brands means starting over on waiting lists. Impulse car buying, seeing a vehicle on the lot and deciding to purchase it that day, is becoming extinct. But the ripple effects extend far beyond car lots. When families are forced to pay $52,000 for a minivan that used to cost $35,000, that's $17,000 less they have for housing, education, or retirement savings. Transportation costs are driving inflation across every sector of the economy because everyone needs a car, but cars have become luxury purchases. Therefore, this automotive crisis is affecting every American's budget, whether they are buying a car or not. Higher car prices mean higher insurance costs, higher maintenance costs, and higher opportunity costs for every other purchase. The technology factor is accelerating these trends in unexpected ways. Toyota's hybrid dominance isn't just about fuel efficiency. It's about being early to a technology that consumers actually want. While other manufacturers rushed into full electric vehicles that many consumers aren't ready for, Toyota perfected hybrid technology that bridges the gap. But this creates a dangerous precedent. The manufacturers who guess right on technology trends will dominate their markets, while those who guess wrong will be stuck with inventory nobody wants. We're moving toward a winner-take-all automotive economy where a few brands control everything. Therefore, early technology adopters will continue winning, while late adopters pay premium prices for outdated solutions. The gap between market leaders and followers is becoming insurmountable. The most disturbing implication is what this means for economic mobility. Reliable transportation is essential for employment, but reliable transportation is becoming a luxury good. When a basic Toyota Corolla requires a months-long waiting list and full-price payment, we're creating barriers to economic participation that didn't exist before. Young adults entering the job market, families with limited credit, and anyone who needs a car immediately for work are being systematically excluded from the vehicles they need most. This isn't just inconvenient, it's economically devastating for entire demographics. But the wealthy are thriving in this environment. They can afford to wait, pay premium prices, and maintain multiple vehicles while others wait. The Lexus RX Hybrid selling 4,500 units in 45 days at $63,000 proves there's an entire class of buyers for whom these prices are irrelevant. Therefore, our transportation system is becoming a reflection of our wealth inequality, where your ability to get to work depends on your ability to navigate an increasingly rigged marketplace. The next 12 months will determine whether this becomes a permanent feature of American life, or whether market forces eventually restore some balance. Based on current trends, permanent scarcity looks more likely than market correction. So, why are these cars flying off lots faster than dealers can stock them? It's not just demand, It's a perfect storm of controlled supply, changing consumer priorities, and Toyota's masterful manipulation of market psychology. The Toyota Sienna isn't winning because it's the best minivan ever made. It's winning because Toyota built exactly what America needs when America needs it, then made sure there's never enough to go around. This data reveals the uncomfortable truth about modern car buying. It's become a strategic game where knowledge, timing, and persistence determine whether you drive away satisfied or get crushed by an increasingly predatory system. The casual car buyer, someone who just wants reliable transportation without the drama, is facing extinction. But here's what the industry doesn't want you to know. This manufactured scarcity is deliberate. Toyota could produce more Siennas, more Corollas, more RAV4s. They choose not to because scarcity drives profits. Every other manufacturer is studying Toyota's playbook, which means this problem is about to get much worse before it gets better. The implications go far beyond individual purchases. When basic transportation becomes a luxury good, we're not just changing how people buy cars, we're changing who gets to participate in the American economy. Reliable transportation is the foundation of employment, education, and economic mobility. Making it artificially scarce is making opportunity artificially scarce. Yet within this rigged system, informed buyers are still finding ways to win. That $2,700 discount we secured on a Toyota Sienna wasn't luck. It was understanding that even in a seller's market, dealers still have quotas, competition, and pressure points. The key is knowing which buttons to push and when to push them. And if you're planning to buy a car in 2025, don't forget to grab my free guide about which ones to avoid. There's a few you definitely won't see coming.